What is the best way to manage Python SQLite connections? Imagine building a small app that needs to store user data. You might wonder how to keep your database connections smooth and error-free. Well, managing SQLite connections properly is key to making your app reliable and fast. Let's walk through the best ways to handle this in Python without any fuss. First, every time you want to talk to your database, you need to open a connection. Python's built-in SQLite 3 module makes this easy with the connect function. You tell it which database file to use or use the special name memory if you want a temporary database. Once connected, you create a cursor object to run your SQL commands. But here's the catch. If you forget to close the connection after, it can cause problems like locked files or memory leaks. The simplest way to avoid these issues is to use Python's context manager. Think of it as a smart helper that opens your connection and then closes it automatically when you're done. Just write your code inside a with statement and Python takes care of the rest. For example, you can create a table, insert data, and commit changes all within this block. When the block ends, the connection closes, even if an error pops up. This makes your code cleaner and safer. Handling transactions is also important. By default, SQLite saves changes only when you call commit. If something goes wrong, you can call rollback to undo changes. Using the with statement helps here too. If an exception occurs inside the block, Python rolls back automatically, keeping your data safe. When doing many inserts at once, use executemany instead of multiple single inserts. It's faster and reduces overhead. Sometimes, multiple parts of your program try to access the database at the same time. SQLite allows only one write at a time, so if you keep connections open too long, you might get locking errors. To prevent this, open and close connections quickly and avoid keeping them open longer than needed. Also, remember that null values in the database become none in Python. Always check for none when processing query results to avoid errors. If your app has many users or needs to handle lots of data, opening and closing connections repeatedly can slow things down. Connection pooling is a technique where a set of connections stays open and gets reused. Python's SQLite 3 module doesn't support this directly, but libraries like SQLite do. For small projects or learning, sticking with simple context managers works perfectly. To make your database queries faster, add indexes on columns you search often. You can also tweak SQLite settings with pragma statements, like setting journal mode to write ahead logging for better concurrency. Just be careful, as some settings can affect data safety if your app crashes. In summary, the best way to manage SQLite connections in Python is to use context managers for opening and closing connections automatically. Handle transactions with commit and rollback, check for none in query results, and keep connections short-lived. For bigger projects, consider connection pooling, but for most learning and small apps, simple and clear code works best. This approach keeps your database interactions smooth, your data safe, and your code easy to understand.